So, A House with the Clock Its Walls came out this weekend, and there's a lot that we could talk about for this movie. We could talk about how the house is literally the creepiest thing in the world and seems to hate everyone. We could talk about how a boy witch who is just a baby warlock who isn't even official is able to cast a necromancy spell. We could talk about how the answer to finding the secret passageway with the map is literally using a stethoscope that doctors have literally all the time. We could talk about how a boy witch is able to cast a necromancy spell. We could talk about how the answer to all the solutions was to use a magic 8-ball, which isn't magic, to throw it down the gears and stop it, and that is going to stop this entire plan. We could talk about how a boy witch with no training is able to cast a necromancy spell. But no, today we're talking about something else. We're talking about something a lot more specific, a lot more concrete, and something that the movie clearly got it completely wrong. Today we're talking about 1955. So for any of you who don't know, this movie is set to take place in Zambie, Michigan in 1955. And that was just like, after the beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, bet. So I was just watching along the movie and noticed, there are a few things that don't seem like 1955. And I started keeping track of like the things I noticed that were kind of weird, and I looked a lot of them up when I got home. At the very end of the movie, as Lewis is walking to the car after school, Uncle Jonathan says that, ooh, a regular James Dean, which like, hold up. We all know James Dean. We love James Dean, okay? Like, he's iconic. Whether that's, his acting in Rebel Without a Cause, or the fact that he died in a car crash, like, pretty tragically. But right now, we need to focus on that car crash. James Dean died September 30th, 1955. Exactly. Now, based off of the context clues we get in the movie, we know this happens in September. So it just started, so we can assume September. But also, in the middle of the movie, where Lewis tries to turn lead into gold, that first spell they did, earlier, right before that scene, Uncle Jonathan says that it is the perfect time for the first real magic because it is the harvest moon tonight. And the harvest moon is, it occurs near the fall equinox, which is September 22nd, which means that in the middle of the movie, they are only 8 days away from when James Dean dies. By the end of the movie, we can assume that some time has passed. We don't know how long, we're not exactly sure, but it could be anywhere between a day and a couple of weeks. But in any case, that's a little bit morbid. At best, they're making a joke predicting that James Dean is dying, or like, making that little jab like literally days before his car crash, or even worse, they're making that joke literally days after. Okay, and so here's the big thing that shoots this out of the water, why this could not happen in 1955. There is no total lunar eclipse that happened in 1955. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, Glenn, really? You're that petty that you're gonna look at actual moon calendars to see if this would actually be able to happen? Okay, first of all, if I was the game theorist, you would not be questioning this. You would just accept this as base level work for a theory. And secondly, yes, I can. You know why? Because the movie randomly picked this date. In the original book, within the first sentence, it is stated that this takes place in 1948. Why on earth did they change it to 7 years later? If the movie felt the need to change it by 7 years, give me a reason. Was it so the war could be a bigger issue? Because I'm pretty sure that 1955 people were still reeling after the war, see it literally only happened 10 years ago. Was it because this master warlock who had just talked to a demon got home with the plans, as he states, clear as day in his mind, for some reason needed 9 years to be able to complete them and not 2? Like, if the plans are crystal clear in my mind, and that's literally all I want, and I have the skills to do it, you better believe I'm making that clock in 2 years. Wait 9 years to make a clock? No, that doesn't even make sense. So now, of course, we have to find out when it did happen.
and I'm here to say that this movie actually took place in 1950 for a few reasons. One, it would have been early enough, like far before James Dean's death, that people could still talk about him because he was still kind of famous then. Not as hugely famous as like the joke might insinuate, but still pretty famous at that time. And two, much more importantly, there was a total lunar eclipse on September 26, 1950, which would have been 4 days after the harvest moon, which means that the timeline fits perfectly within the movie. It would have been a tight squeeze, but everything would have fit in that time frame.
Movie, get your facts straight, thank you, and good night. So if you like that theory, obviously, comment down below. Tell me, when do you think it happens? Were there any other things that I missed? Like special key things that would say actually happens at this time? Because tell me, I could have missed something. This is just based off of the clues that I found. Don't forget to share this video with, everyone who has watched this movie. Because, why would they do this? Honestly, why? Subscribe to this channel because this channel is amazing. Let's go off, okay? Yeah, all my social media is right there. I'm cool. Follow me. I'm a great guy. At least I try to be. Also, thanks for actually letting me do a video where you could see me. It's weird. I would have done another video with just voiceover, but I couldn't get enough footage from the movie. So yeah, I think that's all I need, guys. So let's have some fun and smile.